Hey guys, so the past few months have been kind of crazy and a bit of a roller coaster ride. We were pregnant with our first baby and she was born in February this year.
All of this happened amidst the pandemic and a second wave in Italy, so this was pretty chaotic. And it made us realize how important it is to have an emergency fund. And guys, coming from me, this is kind of a big deal because historically I haven't been the best saver, but as we've started our family since marrying Gareth and starting our family, I realize more and more how important it is, especially now, to have an emergency fund. And a lot of you have asked us, how do we manage our finances as a family?
And so today we have the family here, at least the ones that make the money decisions for now. And so I'm joined by my wife Shanta, so we can share some of the experiences we had just in the past few months where our emergency fund was a real lifesaver. So as many of you know, we have our precious little fur baby, Nana, who's made her own appearances on this channel before as my financial consultant.
So 2 days before Christmas, Nana got really ill, like she was shivering and she was in a lot of pain, and you know, it was really concerning to see her like this because she's generally such a joyful dog. We rushed her to the emergency and it was quite a sight because I was pretty far along with my pregnancy.
So we went to this emergency room and they had to do all these specialized scans and stuff and determined that the problem is with her back, right? She's got some sort of a back problem that may need surgery. Luckily, the surgery was not necessary, but in the end, it was about 800 euros for us to get the diagnosis and start getting her treated.
Money well spent.
Yeah.
Love our Nana.
Luckily, she's better now.
Yeah.
But obviously not 800 euros that we had anticipated to spend just before Christmas.
And it was also at the same time that I had finished my master's and we were ramping up with all the baby items and purchases that we needed to do in preparation for baby's arrival. So that did sting a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And thank goodness we had the emergency fund. And also, you know, with leading up to baby's arrival, you know, you're trying to get everything arranged, get everything organized. So we're purchasing all the things that we need for baby. But even then, there's always these unexpected costs that pop up.
Yeah, and generally, you know, Gareth and I are the kind of people where we like to plan and have everything down to the T, our ducks in a row. But, you know, as everybody says, you can try and plan and prepare as much as possible, but there's always going to be a surprise or something unexpected that pops up.
Exactly. And, you know, every baby is different and their needs are different, you know, so these unexpected things happen. And again, thank goodness we had the emergency fund because this was the second time in a very short space of time that it really came in handy.
And that was a couple €1,000.
Yeah, exactly. And the cost for Nana as well. So both of those together, it would have been quite a sum of money. And of course, Murphy's Law, there had to be a third event that happened within a short space of time. And I've shared with you guys in the past on this channel that we have a property in the US. And as is quite common in the US, you know, each house has their own HVAC or heating and cooling system. And as luck would have it, well, ours decided to break just recently. And so much so that we couldn't even repair it. We had to completely replace this unit for $5,000.
Of course, it was something that we had to replace because you can't leave your tenant without heating or cooling. And we try to also see it as a long-term investment in the property because it's also not something that you have to replace often, right? Every 20 years or so, depending.
Exactly. And the tenant was obviously happy because we want to make sure that they're comfortable and that they're enjoying staying at the property. But this was $5,000 that we did not expect to have to spend, you know, it just popped up like that.
And it's interesting that all these things kind of happened at once in a very short amount of time while we were juggling like having a newborn as well, so, and quite sleep deprived. So it really helped as well to just have some funds available for us to access.
So being a finance person that I am, you know, I used to always look at an emergency fund and think, you know, that it's just cash, it's not generating much of a return and there's this opportunity cost. But, you know, when these types of things happen, it's really worth it to keep those funds available that you can access quickly because of the peace of mind that it brings you.
So, you know, when these unexpected things happen and emergencies, they're already quite stressful in nature as it is. So being able to have some money set aside for you to access in those events really helps you to focus on the issue and not also have the added stress of worrying about how you're going to get that money. And of course, it came with us cutting back on certain things and having to be quite disciplined, which was not always easy. But we learned through this experience that it was really worth it.
I think we can all acknowledge that it's not always easy to set up an emergency fund and to save that money and set it aside. But the important thing is that you just start. You know, you can start with a few dollars and then build it up over time and just keep adding to it month after month. And then once you have that emergency fund, you know, it really does give you this great peace of mind. So guys, those are 3 cases where an emergency fund really came in handy for us just in the past few months, and it's probably even more important now with a child, you know, with a family. So thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this video and having Shanta with me on this channel, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel and share this with others that you think would benefit from having an emergency fund as well.
And guys, we'd love to learn and support each other in this journey. So please let us know about what have been some of your personal experiences with an emergency fund or lack thereof, and what are some of your views on it? Let's start a conversation around that.
Love to hear your thoughts. My wife is shedding.
It's one of the pros of having a child.
Jeez. Hey guys, what am I saying?
You guys have asked us how do we